Evening all, and welcome to episode 111 of Kerbalism. The sun is setting on this Duna day, not day 5, it is year 6, day 329. We have, I can't read that, Eve, we have Eve in the sky with us, going down. And right, what has changed between last episode and this one? Well, I have managed to remove the solar panels and radiators from this pod here, and that wasn't removed by me or on purpose. That was removed because I had my science rover set to follow this rover. I'm not sure why I did that, but I did. Oh, actually no, I know why I did that. I had them dancing around. If you set a rover to follow another rover and put them heading control but don't turn the speed on with MechJeb, they just dance around with each other as things go forward and backwards. So yeah, as they go up a hill and go down a hill, they do things. So it was fun to watch for a while. I forgot they were set to that. I then used my transport rover to go over to the BKR and then come back again. And of course the science rover trundled around, rolling along, followed it down and smashed straight into the side of the pod and took out its solar panels and the solar panels there. And yeah, pretty much that was fun and games. Stuff everywhere, and yeah, I really wish I'd recorded that because I was sort of what have I done? But yes, anyway, that's not why we're here. We are obviously getting things going. These two radiators I need to leave because if they're stowed away, our drill starts to overheat, so we need those. I may build an actual radiator farm and just sort of extend it off over here somewhere, and just have like a strut with some large radiators on it and put it out of the way. Seems to make sense. Yes, there is a few things I want to do. The main one, we are obviously full on ore, completely full on ore. We're producing more ore than we're using, and I have noticed in these convertitrons, you've got liquid fuel oxidizer, which I'm running. But you then got liquid fuel and oxidizer separately. But enabling them causes the core temperature to start going up, and I'm worried what would happen to that. So I'm not going to do that. I think that's we'll leave that as is for a minute. We are getting there with liquid fuel and oxidizer. I don't know if our BKR is filling. Let's have a quick check. How are you for fuel? You are at half full on fuel, but I think we can unplug this from the network. Then we can request stuff, can't we? I open up all these numbers here. Go request. There we go. We are now completely full. So excellent. Although we obviously don't need the food and stuff. Yeah, I should have thought about that because I want to take the food off and obviously bring that down. I don't really know how to transfer stuff around with that plug it in. I may just have to get one of the long cables and plug it in. This transferring the logistics network is a brilliant thing, but it's quite difficult to use when you want to move resources around, because if I now plug that back in, you'll notice all my stats drop because it now thinks I'm part of the main network. But I can't pump the food out of this to somewhere else. If I right click on that, I then can't right click on something over here, the supply containers, to move stuff around. So I may just run a lead up here, although I think that's too far for my leads, but well, we'll figure that out when we come to launch it. Anyway, that's not why we're here. One thing I want to do is I need to edit my power settings here, because I don't really want... Right, when the power's low, the converter comes on. The converter is our nuclear reactor. Yep, that's Mongol and blue, okay. And when the power's high, we turn it off because we're not worried about that. Okay. When we're in the shadow, I want to ignore all these. I think. them off because there's no point in turning the solar panels off in the shadow. We might as well just leave them all the time. But I want to come down here to this drill, this large one, and I want to turn that off. Yeah, I'm going to turn that off. Then in sunlight, I'm going to set all these to ignore again. Not very responsive. Come on. Very responsive at all, that one. And in sunlight down the bottom, we want to turn on that drill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these drills off. Because I'm pretty sure that one large drill on its own can supply my entire base. So by turning these off, if I retract them completely, I know what I'm doing then. Okay, then not having those out or running means I'm not producing any more heat. They're not using any more electric, but that is quite power hungry. So at night time we'll turn that off and just run it during the day. Obviously, ore storage is, we've got a few roundy edges here, and we've got one on top. That's the ore, 800 ore there, and that's not going down at all, is it? Nope, our ore is still staying full. So that means that one drill is enough to run the ISRU here and the metal refining there. I'm still not sure about the metal here. The metal's much higher than the rocket parts. I'm not really sure why that's gone up. I'm just going to sort of ignore that for a minute. But that's not why we're here. Nope. We're here because I have something else built. So if we have no sites found. Right. Okay. I'm sure I had one just over there somewhere. I can see something flickering there, so something's gone wrong. So bear with me for a moment. I shall just quickly fix that. Okay, so after moving the stake, which you can just about see there, actually after moving it a few times, I finally now have the option in here to finalise this build. I'm not sure why. I've literally moved it over like a meter at a time, and third or fourth time it's worked. Great. Anyway, let's finalise this, and you'll see we have new ship. I think I need to. Let's, rather than plug it in, let's press load. There we go. Yay. So don't appear. Oh, or do I have control? Yes, I do. There we go. Okay. So yes, got a little antenna on the side of it. This is a science probe, as you can see here, and you can see this is extremely laggy again for some reason, and I don't know why. Up, please. There we go. Right. Yeah, I don't know why this is like it is, but no. This is our science probe for scanning Duna, because you'll remember the last probe I had vanished, and I don't know why before we can get all these surveys done for Duna, so that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to throttle up a bit. It's got very powerful engines on this, memory serves, so I can do it quite low, and we need to kind of be heading north. I turn that off, don't you? Yes. And we'll go for space. And yep, there we go. This is very, very slow, but it'll speed up once we get away from our base a bit. I need to a bit, because we want to put this in a polar orbit to get the best scanning out of it that we can. And actually want to slow down a bit because I don't want to go too fast through the thick part of the atmosphere, because it's got bits that can break off, and we really don't want to do that. And just like that, it smooths out. Yeah, that base is extremely laggy. But hey ho. Right, so I feel this is going pretty well actually. This is I really hope I've got enough fuel. Because I didn't really plan that, if I'm honest with you. I didn't really think, I think it's got enough Delta V to get to orbit, but I didn't really plan a sort of trajectory. Oh, well, there we go, we're 60 kilometers. So all we need to do now is circularize at the right point. Feels like a very long time since I've done this, but there we go. That looks good. I'm not actually sure what the engines actually need. Sorry, engines, not the engines. What the anners actually need height-wise. But we do have lots of more propellant on this, so we should be okay no matter what happens. And apparently it's a 5-second burn, and we've got 8 seconds of fuel on board. Wow. Yeah. If I toggle the mode, these are from the BFR mod. They I think the toggling the mode is just the center engine, so it allows you the propulsive landing. I think it's one of those ones. So, yep. But let's give this a try, shall we? Accelerate time. Don't show that again. No, our solar panels deploy on their own. Oh, I think MegJeb does that. Always confuse me when things get automated that I don't remember. Okay. And go. Yep, there we go, just a single edge in the centre. I do have another mod installed which does these, I think Real Plume is called. I think. I'm not entirely sure. I know I like it, I know I like the look of it, it's pretty cool. Okay, so we are now in some form of orbit. Let's start all our equipment up. That one I don't actually think is... Oh, there we go, that does the orbital survey. That's part of actual Kerbal base programmer standard, I think. We want to start that. Suboptimal. Start that. Suboptimal. Start that. Ideal. Okay. And we have this here, deploy the scanner. Right, this is a new one, I don't know what the hell that does, but yep, and ask this here. Aha! We have a telescopic camera data. That's a new one, so we shall well, I'm going to transmit that back because oh, okay, so you can't, okay, space dust is probably the same, is it? Yep. So we've got some things which can't be transmitted back. There, which is awkward because we're not ever going to recover them, but hey ho. So yeah, we've got this now going. Scanning Duna away and transmitting its data back. So we'll leave that going. I think I'm going to also send our rocket up. I fill it with fuel somehow, and empty it of food, and send it up to the station to grab more food and drop the fuel off, and then come back down again. I think that's sort of an idea. And yeah, other than that, I think things are just going absolutely fine. I might burn the rest of the fuel off, and raise our apoaps to try and make these not as suborbital. So let's just do that now. Let's just burn off the rest of our fuel. Or maybe not. 500 is probably a bit much. Well, as I said, we've got plenty of monopropellant, so I can adjust that if needed. But yeah, that'll do for a minute. And yeah, let's bring our big Kerbal rocket up, shall we? And so, after a fair bit of jiggery-pokery, I've managed to get the BKR filled up, or fuel up and ready. Let's see. Jump and grab that. And board. There's no more water. Okay, so I want to transfer limbals to the actual command module. And we need some water, so let's request that. The way I've basically done this is I unplugged. I had this plugged into the network and unplugged the main base, and then the base requested everything, so it completely drained this out, all apart from electricity. And then I plugged the base back in and unplugged this one, and when it's unplugged you can request resources. So instead of them sharing them, you can actually just request to fill things up and change things, and that I like. That kind of works pretty well, but we do need some water, so let's grab a tiny amount. There we go. That should be okay. Let's have a look here. We have 5 days of food, 6 days of water, 4 hours of oxygen. Now, let's grab a little bit more oxygen, shall we? There we go. 1 day, 2 hours. No, we want more than that. 2 days. There we go. That seems okay. There we go. That'll do. That'll do. Nitrogen we're completely out of, but nitrogen's not required for living, so just required for comfort. Okay. So all we now need to do is try and figure out what the hell this is doing. What are you doing? Go. No, just go. Shoot. Go down there. Right. So we just need to set our target to this and launch to it. I think I kind of want to wait for it to be pretty much above head. Maybe a bit before that. Perhaps. Time here. My rovers didn't. No, the rover's gone down there and stuff. Okay. Bill Kerbal is breathing again. Yes, because he was in a rover and I hadn't realised that. Obviously, if they're in a rover or something that's not physically plugged in, when you're at the KSC, it uses the resources up on that, and then the logistics network doesn't transfer anymore. So, yeah, it's not really great for that. I'm really confused by this thing here because it's. Oh no, there it is. I'm going to wait for that to get to about the 270 mark, and then we are going to launch, and we are going to we're going to head 90 degrees at a pitch of 45. I think that's going to be our. I think so. So to start with, we'll go straight up, and I think that should do it. So, and why can I not? Why do I not have control? Oh, just got time warp. Oh dear, we've gone too far now. But oh well. Well, I suppose go. Essentially, oh, I need to bring those in. They'll get broken off by the atmosphere otherwise. Check those, and then let's point ourselves 45 degrees. Pull the landing gear in. Pull the landing gear in. Thank you. I also need to retract that ladder, but I don't remember how to do that. One. There we go. I've passed with group 1. And we're already way away from that, and the frame rate goes so much nicer. Okie dokie. So, let's just burn our way. We're still getting that weird wobbly sensation, which is just MechJeb. It's just MechJeb. I don't know. Although it's not particularly MechJeb because even the SAS does it. You have the SAS on and tell it to just stay prograde, it wiggles. So I don't know exactly what's done that, but something has. And that'll do for the minute. We're going to be a long way back, but that's fine because that will come down a little bit as we go through the atmosphere. Our electricity should be good. Our electricity is 15 minutes, but that should be okay. That really shouldn't cause a problem. Obviously, we have the engine. Launch at night is not an ideal thing, but really plan that better. But hey ho. Right, so we want to go double plus. There are no lights in there. Oh well. Obviously, we have the engines, and they, I believe, have alternators on them. I hope they have alternators on them. I haven't really thought about that, but yes, yeah, they do. So we should be okay for electric. So I will rendezvous with the colony ship, and I'll see you when we're there. Okay, and here we are back docked to the station. I've transferred some fuel and bits and pieces around. I've taken about half the fuel out of this. I think it's about 4,000 oxidizer. Because I was just running it off the oxidizer. No, I was running it off liquid fuel. Hold on, 5, 3. Yeah. Essentially, I came up here and I had to take about half the fuel out of it in order to get back down to the surface. That should give me enough Delta V to land on that one there. To get this whole craft back to Kerbal is going to be about 2,000 meters a second I need. Obviously at the moment it says 959, but that's because I've got these docked to it and they won't be here. But I definitely need another fuel load before I can do anything with that. Also, I've got to wait 416 days. If I go any earlier than that, it's going to be ridiculous amounts of extra Delta V to get there, so yeah, we're not going with that, we're going to do that. But I am going to essentially abandon the station. I'm going to put all my Kerbals down to the surface. We have filled up on food here. We have 4,000, no don't, we have 315 food. I could have sworn there was something else that added extra food. Yes, yeah, we have the little tank in the bottom, fuel tank there, which has got food, water and a bit of monopellant in it. I keep forgetting that this doesn't need monopellant. The RCS that's built into the BFR is liquid fuel and oxidizer based, so it doesn't need monopellant to actually operate, so I have to remember to not do that in the future. If I turn that off, will I remember to do that? No? Well, we'll see. But yeah. And I've emptied this of fuel and just have filled it completely to the brim with monopropellant. I've got in places here as much monoprop as I could possibly get into it. We're almost all here. I'm hoping that's going to be enough to deorbit it. All it has to do is sort of touch the atmosphere and it can be dragged in. It is a plane after all. But I need to be careful with that because obviously I need to glide it somewhere. I don't want to waste the fuel putting it on there, so I think Jeb's going to bring that down on his own, and everyone else is going to go in the BFR, or the BKR, the big Kerbal rocket. This one. So right, let's see. We will transfer Jeb to there, and then I will transfer the rest of the crew over to here, and we shall depart back down for the Red Planet. Okie dokie, I think that's about it. We've not got that many people in here. There's a fair few, but I did have to put a lot more into this pod here, so yeah, that's going to come down. I might put a tiny bit of fuel on that, just so if it lands on the surface, I can then drive it around. Basically, I think that'd be a good idea. I think transferring a little bit of fuel over might be an idea. Maybe just into the wings, I think. Yeah, I think if we fill the wings up, then it's got fuel, so if I need to fly it a little bit in the atmosphere, I can. And yeah, I'll fill the wings up, that'll do. Okay. Yeah. So, right. Let's let that transfer over. It's probably far more fuel than it actually needs, but, well, I'd rather bring a bit too much than not enough. And, of course, this will have to sort of survive on its own. It does have a probe, it does have connection to the KSC, so we can remote pilot it home, so that's not an issue at all. Okie dokie, so let's wait until we're in the right place before we think about the descending. In fact, you know what? Let's wait until daytime. But daytime will have to wait until the next episode. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope to see you again next time. And until then, as always, have fun.